Here it comes!
Alan's Wake 2 is the long-awaited sequel to Alan's Wake 1, Alan's Awakening, starring Alan Lake and directed by Samuel Drake. This game hooks you right in from the start. You first play as a naked, sweaty fat guy prancing around the forest while being hunted down by deer-masked strangers who want to kill you and tear your heart out, which is a clear nod to Mel Gibson's movie Apocalypto Now, starring Mayan Brando. As for the 7 people that actually play the standalone Alan's Wake American Steak and Shake, you may as well entirely forget that piece of shit, as Sam Remedy said he forgot to play it, so it doesn't count. Mr. Remedy is such a huge fan of the Max Payne series and, being a method actor, underwent dozens of cosmetic surgeries to make his face look just like the character Max Payne 3, whom he plays in this game. Remedy has since established its own Marvel Cinematic Universe with their games catalog, which now includes both of the Alan Wakes, Controller, the Mixed Paint trilogy, and the Quantum Loop game that nobody cares about. Albert Flake 2 takes us back to the Pacific Northwestern community of Blighttown, Washington, D.C., where Alan has been busy being emo and listening to Alice in Chains for the past 13 years since we last saw him. A lot of Alan's torment comes from the fact that he's so knee-deep in the closet he's probably discovered Narnia by now. It's up to Alan to try to convince the world he isn't gay by writing a pretty detective lady into his world to try to help him escape his repressed feelings. The game is evenly divided into 2 separate campaigns. You switch between Cop Girl and Disgruntled Alan, alternating as we please and without skipping a beat. You can swap between our 2 heroes anytime you like. You just gotta find a dirty mop puddle and stare at it for a few seconds. For the first few chapters, you play as CIA agent Sega Genesis. When playing as her, the game has you constantly pausing the fun stuff to sort through boring casework and thumbtacking photos inside of her brain. Therefore, you can try to crack the mystery of the secret reindeer cult that keeps murdering people and turning them into coffee beans or something. You spend a good chunk of the game just doing this bullshit, and it's about as thrilling as watching your grandma get fitted for dentures while you gloss over your local DMV handbook. Alan's second Easy Bake Oven is basically about a sleep-deprived writer and a stressed-out FBI agent trying to escape a cursed fanfiction, while an evil Venom shadow named Scratch keeps screwing with reality and turning everyone into over-caffeinated psychos. The overall combat is about the same as in Alan's first big break, where you use your trusty flashlight to stun the shadow people like it's Luigi's fucking mansion, except instead of sucking them off, you just blow them away. And because this game is so sparkly and high budget, naturally we have to have resource management and over-the-shoulder third-person based action, which is what every single AAA studio game needs in order to qualify as worthy of discussion. You'll spend half your time rummaging through drawers for batteries and Twizzlers while Sega and Max Payne compete in pretentious dialogue quips with each other about who's the lousier partner. I don't know what's going on in the real world when Sega pauses everything she's doing to enter her mind zone. I like to imagine she's interviewing someone and mid-sentence just starts T-posing and blasting lights out of her eyes and mouth and into the sky. It's probably a bit unnerving to everyone around her, but I'm sure Max is too drunk to even care. The game is much darker than the original, and I mean that both narratively and literally. You can toggle your flashlight on and off whenever you want, but even with the brightness adjusted, you may as well just keep it on the whole time because I can't see shit. Sega's side of the game has you running around the woods, playing with dolls, and shooting bad guys in the face. Meanwhile, Alan's has you jogging around the same square block in New York City for hours while he keeps making that same terrified expression of the camera like someone just microwaved his pet turtle. The light switch puzzles that you have to solve in order to navigate your way through the magical doors like it's Monsters, Inc. can be very confusing and mostly suck ass. The whispery shadow people scattered around are only there to rage bait you by going, "Alan," until you smack them down with the old light bright. Most of the combat for both characters is basically just this over and over, and it gets pretty damn repetitive after the first few hours. Mind you, this game is like 20 hours long. Despite the game consistently boring me to tears with its busy work and the gunplay being super repetitive, I did find myself compelled to at least see it to completion. Sega's campaign is definitely the more engaging of the two in terms of gameplay, but Alan still has his fair amount of highlights. Like that random bit where the Nordic Trailer Park Boys start rocking out and Alan goes full MTV Unplugged, serving you main character energy like he's headlining Coachella. Honestly, this part's just awesome. Same goes for the rest of the score. I found myself stopping to soak in every song that plays in between chapters because of this kick-ass soundtrack. I expect to add a few of these tracks to my workout playlist by the time I publish this review. Alan Wake 2 is undeniably self-indulgent, but it's also bold, sincere, and confidently weird enough to make it work. It's so into its own thing and doesn't really try to be anything other than its wacky, weird self in this already strange universe. And without giving away any spoilers, I will say, with all this talk about needing the perfect ending, the initial ending was absolute trash. That is, until I saw that there was a director's cut bonus ending added after the game's release, which was much better. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if they just George Lucas the whole thing and made it the official ending. So if your initial reaction once the credits hit is that it sucks, just stick around, because there's more. Or just look it up on YouTube, whatever. I don't see myself replaying Alan Wake 2 anytime soon, but Remedy's cooked up enough madness that I'm interested to see where the spiral goes next. This has been Alan Wake, and it's time for my Alan break.